This is a standard image-based personality test used in various domains to test the big 5 personality traits: openness, conscientiousness, extraversion, agreeableness, and emotional stability. Although such tests are not a wholesome way to understand someone's cognitive ability and personality, let alone subconscious self, which is very complex, this does provide reasonable accuracy according to many feasibility studies. Before you choose and find interpretation according to the chosen key, let me tell you that one needs to choose with an open mind for befitting analysis. I wanted to acknowledge that the accuracy of the results are greatly dependent on your own mood, your emotional state, because unwittingly you and even I may introduce bias into the system. Perhaps I presented a key in a certain angle that intrigues your subconscious because your grandmother used to keep a key similarly, which your conscious self doesn't even remember today, but the subconscious appeal of that childhood memory got triggered, and hence you are choosing that specific key. Scientific research estimates that 95% of our brain's activity is subconscious, meaning that the majority of the decisions we make, the actions we take, the dreams we see at night or with open eyes, our emotions and behaviors depend on the 95% of brain activity that lies beyond conscious awareness. That's freaky because this directly challenges our idea of free will, as we can no longer disregard that a key to our subconscious self can be the most empowering key we will ever find. The basal ganglia, the ancient basement of the brain, what is known as, is the main physiological hub of our subconscious self, according to neuroscience experts. And if we can tap into our subconscious self, we can actually excavate a huge amount of interesting information about us, which can sharpen our decision-making skills, can give us better clarity about our life because we understand ourselves better. And it helps us develop our intuition because our intuition is the complex mechanism which bridges the gap between our subconscious and the conscious self. This actually helps us in the course of our life also. Alright, make your choice now. Choose instinctually without deliberating. Do not think through your choice. Choose what draws you naturally. The timestamps are provided in the description and you can jump to your corresponding choice or feel free to watch the entire video, as in the end, I will summarize few important points. I also want to make it clear that this video does not substitute any clinical or individually focused psychological analysis, and most effective way to integrate results is to listen to other such videos I will create here in the future. If you chose this key with minimal embellishments, you have a strong subconscious desire to align with a specific purpose, and you can do wonders once you find what that purpose is. You might be mistaken as a rational and analytical person, but that's not what you are all about. You don't necessarily hide the fragile edges of your persona. You inherently know that doesn't make you weak. Once you are focused on anything specific, your subconscious self rallies behind to make it happen, but you may be equally rudderless till you find that focus. You mostly stick by your words unless your conscious self is at interplay, and that means when you lie, you are very much aware of it. You do it with purpose. But it may so happen that you may not always clearly understand that purpose, as there is an opposing subconscious pull. You are pretty open and forthcoming, but chances are intricate aspects of your inner self are often overlooked by the outside world. When you are restless in your disposition, you may appear relatively calm, and when you feel calm inside, others may sense anxiety. So if you choose key number 1, work on your focus and you will do wonders. If you chose the key number 2, while your conscious self may be bothered about buying real estate, your subconscious values freedom. It doesn't want to feel tied down to a specific place for a long time. While some subconscious parts of your brain can be at times dangerously animalistic, others are smarter and quicker than your conscious minds. Under right environmental conditions, you should be good at math. When you say, I just thought of something and get lost in thought, you might notice your subconscious mind telling your conscious mind something. With training, it's possible to open the stream of communication. You mostly express opinions frankly and can be perceived as tactless at times. If you are an introverted person, on the contrary, you can come across timid too in certain environments, but you can be totally different in different setup. You don't feel like being the first to speak up about something or to be the loudest voice, but others tend to listen when you talk. Whether they agree or not, well, that's a different matter altogether. If you have chosen key number 2, then I would say that try to work to bridge the gap between your conscious and subconscious self. And how to do that? By spending some time alone. Right? If you regularly spend some time alone instead of continuously being surrounded by people, you will be able to, even very unconsciously, you will be able to tap into your subconscious self because you are just spending some time alone, not being extremely busy. You cannot sit at a point, I'm not asking you to sit at a place and meditate for this. You can do your regular tasks, but in general, don't be too busy continuously because then you will be disconnected. So you choose the key number 3. You may be that person who knows what's happening at the corner of a big room the moment you step into that room without having to directly look. Your subconscious self is rather easygoing yet interesting, and yet you thrive with multiple options. You can be easily distracted, but even then, you somehow know what's going on in your surroundings because your subconscious is great at picking up cues. You don't do well with demands on your time, though you may tend to procrastinate and can manage last-minute changes. If you cram more into your conscious mind and make it work harder, it will be counterproductive. Walking outside is one of the best ways you can unwind and clear up clogged thoughts in your mind. You tend to experience more light bulb moments than average because your subconscious self likes to get attention when it is active, but you may be too busy to feel what's going on. Not being able to achieve a goal in spite of you feeling that you got what it takes. Perhaps it's your subconscious that needs to be tapped into to examine if there's any deep-seated belief that's pulling down your conscious effort. By the way, you may often shape your opinions based on the crowd you're hanging out with till you gain real confidence. Number 3, for those who have chosen key number 3, again, at different junctures in your life, if you feel that there is an innate need for you to work extremely hard, try to take a step back and instead try to listen to, what is that gut instinct is telling you. Sometimes people actually confuse gut instinct with triggers. The emotional responses our body generates, that's not instinct. I will probably make another video to actually, talk about intuition and how to differentiate between our threat perception, intuition, and what is the difference between intuition and instinct, right? I'll make those videos later, but yeah, all I'm telling you is that don't try to bludgeon through something. Take some time out if you are in a challenging situation. For those who have chosen key number 3. Folks who chose the key number 4, did you find asking yourself at any point during this video, for which lock you are asking me to choose a key? How can I choose without seeing the lock? Well, you might be particular about covers on your notebook at school, but your grown-up self loves to keep options open till the very last moment. Others may find you decisive, but you know the inner struggle you experienced to reach there. You participate in active mind wanderings and can think of something completely different while talking to someone and making an impression of paying attention. You are a person with high self confidence, but surprisingly, your subconscious self belief may not be that sound. You feel ready to embark on a new adventure as much as you feel ready to tuck yourself in inside blanket to watch TV and at times simultaneously. You can be great at debates, but you may find it not worth your while to think about things beyond a point, more so when those things don't impact your life. You understand the gray areas of life too well, but it's risky for your subconscious to remain trapped there, and instead, it could be beneficial to back your instinct to make a decision. Otherwise, you may get irritable and tired with sudden low impulse control. Under right circumstances, you can make a good sports person. For number 4, mind wanderings are fine, but when it comes to important matters, try to arrive at a decision and take the decision by listening to your own inner voice instead of asking others or, trying to continuously getting environmental cues. Instead, try to think that what you want. Try to delve really deep into your desire and take decisions. The struggle that you experience might be because there are too much interference from the environment. One way to do this is to brush in the early morning with your less dominant hand. So if you are a right-handed person, try to brush with your left hand. It will help you rewire your brain. Of course, you have to do it at least for 21 days or something to see any kind of impact. If you choose the key number 5, for good or not so good reasons, you crave for a twinge of sweetness in most dishes you taste, and you stand out in life. It's difficult to ignore your persona in a room as you carry a certain energy which cannot be always described, and yet, strangely enough, you may often feel left out. You can come across pleasant and sunny on days when deep down you are feeling low. You may not be always aware of this subconscious nudge to put up a good show for people out of an innate desire to make your surrounding happier. While some may think you always carry the glass is half full attitude, you may not even see a glass and feel life is a bottomless pit without sharing how you are truly feeling. This doesn't mean it always goes unnoticed, as sometimes your energy field can get heavy and others can sense it then. But it's difficult for someone to grasp you as a whole all at once. Mostly people get to sense different aspects of your persona depending on which part of your subconscious self is talking to their conscious self. You sometimes end up doing things you are clueless about why, at least for that moment. Number 5 will be benefited a lot by expressing, right? If you find a safe space where you can express yourself, without express your real self, and what you are feeling without any fear of repercussions and how you will be perceived. If you can do that, this will actually help you, and this will be probably a little bit of, one step at a time kind of process. Instinctually, if you hide a part of your persona, or it could be a possibility that it won't be easy for you to do this overnight, right? So you have to continuously work towards it. Wherever you're feeling that, okay, it's a safe space, try to express yourself. If you choose the key number 6, involuntarily, often helplessly, you question others' motive behind a good act. Your subconscious mind loves what is familiar and prefers to avoid anything unfamiliar. You want to know what is needed by others at any given moment. You may love listening to real life stories rather than watching a fiction. You got extraordinary power of concentration and you can be a good team player, but you wish you can focus more on yourself. You fear others may take advantage of your spirit, and hence you may exercise caution in your approach till you are very comfortable in your surroundings. You tend to take decisions based on careful observations, though you may appear carefree. You may solicit for opinions of those whom you trust on important matters, but you can often tap into the subconscious mind in instances where you feel a gut instinct or intuition. The more you pay attention to this, the better you will be at training your subconscious and can better differentiate between subconscious fear and intuitive warnings.
Number 6, you do not need to look at all the possibilities and pros and cons before arriving at a conclusion or before making any major decision. Sometimes, if you just can go with the flow a little bit and trust your inner strength and trust the situation overall, it will probably work out better for you. But of course, it depends on the particular circumstances you are dealing with.
Last but certainly not the least, if you opted for key number 7, deep down you fear losing precious things and people because your subconscious is wired with a belief that you don't deserve them. You need to reprogram these aspects to enjoy the fullness of life which you so want to experience. While others may find you talkative and social, you are imaginative and may get reserved often, even when you consider yourself as an extrovert. And if you relate to you being more of an introvert, know that others find it difficult to approach you to break the ice. You often feel misunderstood even when you are well accepted. You are sensitive to external judgments, but you got a strong inner core too. You have a forgiving nature, but you can't suffer unfairness without protesting. You may enjoy spending time in water, and you like straightforward people, as your subconscious don't like to problem solve with ambiguity. If you don't voice your opinion about something, it means you don't see a point of doing so because you do form an independent opinion about most things, even though you like those to be validated by those whose opinions you value. Chances are you got a good handwriting.
Coming to number 7, what's holding you back is some innate fear. What this fear will be about, of course, will differ from individual to individual, but it's some deep-seated fear that is actually, retarding your progress in life. Might be, right? If you are absolutely fine in where we are with life, and by that I do not mean materialistic success, I mean how you feel internally. If you are good with this, then that's fine. You do not need to do anything. But if that is not where you are and you want to improve your overall life experience, then probably it's a better idea for you to work on that subconscious fear. And for that, you need to figure out what that fear is about. Of course, that's totally out of scope of this specific video. If 20 to 30% of what I said for your specific interpretation rings a bell, then we are good here. Because remember that the idea is never 100% resonance, because it's no longer than your subconscious if you can completely relate to all the interpretation, because that means all the awareness is underlying, either in your preconscious self or it has come directly into your conscious self. So it's no longer your subconscious. Actually, Freud didn't even use this terminology called subconscious. He used to say it's unconscious. Nowadays, the word subconscious has become much more, popular with neuroscientists and those who do psychological analysis, because our subconscious is a rich minefield of data. If you want to know more in detail about what is subconscious, how accurate are image-based personality tests? Are they even scientific? How to choose the correct image for a better interpretation? Then you are in the right place, because I am going to make videos on our inner world in future. My name is Amrita Ghosh. You can call me Ghosh, or even better by my channel name, Out of the Den. I'm not a clinical psychologist. Let me make it very clear. I do not have any certification of psychology. But I'm also not this confused YouTube rookie who is jumping from one subject to another just to see what works and what sticks with the audience, or because the subject is trendy. The subjects that I choose to make my video on are my genuine areas of interest and studies for many, many years. And I think that I have reached a space where I can share knowledge, even if it doesn't help somebody, at least it will not cause damage. So I'm very mindful about sharing information. I have studied psychology for the last 8 years, just like I have studied about natural world and wildlife, and I have direct experience because I visited wildlife for decades. So the idea of any such video is not to, or as a matter of fact, anything in YouTube is not to suspend your better judgment, but to just use such videos as an indicator for you to delve deep into your subconscious if you're interested, because that will open up plethoras of possibilities in terms of your life and will generally enhance the quality of your life because you will get to know yourself better. Because our life has become so busy that we are continuously distracted with all outside energetic triggers and bombardments of information. Often, if you look back on the hindsight at your life, you will see that most of the decisions that you have made, which you feel that hasn't gone in your way or didn't work out, a major reason behind that is because you did not know yourself very well enough at that point of time. Uh, you did not know about your desires, how things have unfolded. Now that you look back, you feel that, okay, things probably made sense, or I should have done this, or I should have pursued that. You will see a lot of people say that this is what it is. I am who I am, but they don't know what they are when they say that I am who I am. Because we are forever continuously changing. Our inner self is going through a lot of transformations. The purpose of this video is to just to get you cued in a little bit about this great internal mystery that is within you.